What's up, Rockstars? Welcome to a mega update of a news video. This goes everything from the major crowdfunding board games that are on right now to ones that are just finishing up to ones that are coming up that are super exciting. There's some drama stuff. There's some stuff that's being delivered that nobody thought would be possible, except it's going to cost you extra. There's a lot, so let's go and dive right in. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Just a quick aside, there is a link down to Into the AM down below. There's a 10% off coupon there. They're having a Black Friday sale up to 80% off. I believe this shirt is actually like $5. So feel free to check that out down below. And of course, they're a channel sponsor that's been around for a long time. Show them some love because they show this channel some love. Now let's go and dive in, starting out with Elden Ring, the board game. 1.8 million. I actually thought this was going to do a bit higher, probably around 2 million the first day. It's kind of assuming it's taken a little bit longer, I believe, than a day to get to 2 million, though it's pretty close. 6,500 backers. The interesting part about that, so if you recall, there was 36,000 somewhere around there, people signed up. So a ton of people got notified, but not everybody bit. And I think it's because of the difference between video gamers that are interested in a board game and then realizing what that board game actually costs. The cost of manufacturing these giant physical products is immense. It actually is quite a lot. Even like old school ones from a while ago would cost $50, $60 now, and that's only increased depending on kind of the size and what they're doing, stuff like that. So it's a lot different than a video game where all the cost is up front and then you just sell copies that cost you almost nothing. Instead, every single time they make Elden Ring, it costs them a fair amount of money. So it's definitely a different ball game to, I think, a lot of the video gamers. I think that's one of the key things there, why maybe it didn't quite get the traction, just because it's not as aligned price-wise as perhaps some other offerings. But either way, 8 days ago, they are unlocking stretch goals. This is kind of the update. They have a little story thing. It's kind of fun. We unlocked 6 skeletons that are unlocked now in all the core and all-in pledgers. So anybody backing at least the core gets these for free, and then they'll unlock another one tomorrow. They'll keep doing that every single day. So yeah, very cool. I really like these skeletons, actually. They're a little perhaps plain in pose. They're not very threatening or attacking per se, but the detail on them is pretty good. I will say, however, that I expect, and this is one of the problems with the renders, right? So like you see this little sliver of white here, right where my mouse is. Do you see in between those bones? That's going to be solid. There's not going to be a gap there. I mean, maybe, but typically they'll smash it a little bit together and not make a gap there, just for simplicity's sake. Anything you can do to make your print run more confident, less failure rates, I think typically the better too. And we'll see how those toes end up being too. Those are pretty skinny, but either way, very cool to see that. Something big is coming. I think that's what most people are wanting to see. So we don't know what boss it is down below, or what that could be. I think a lot of people are hoping it's a bear, but we will see, I suppose. Moving on from that, we have Pest. Now this is interesting. 65,000 raised. It also launched the exact same day as Elden Ring, but that's definitely funded, so they're doing good there, and no stretch goals at all. So what you see is what you get here, which is, I think, a very daring thing to do. It's certainly cheaper, right? It's not $5. It's $80 for Pest, or $79, somewhere around there, and you get quite a bit of stuff for sure. But yeah, no, doing good there. I have more comments on these other campaigns that launched at the same time here in just a little bit. So we'll just move on to Mysthea and Icaion, whatever. Okay, made up words. This is something I have a problem with, like fantasy writers, when they like make words I can't say. I can barely speak English. Once you get to whatever those words are, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do it. I apologize. These are the solo expansions to games that were made before, and they are made by David Turkzy. Again, I'm sorry. I apologize for everybody that struggles to say names like I do. It is what it is. They are offering, I believe, the other, like the core games, but you can typically get those actually a little bit cheaper if you're fine with a used copy, or often in the secondhand market, and you'll get it sooner too. So just, I would say go here for the solo expansions. But 17,000 raised, they smashed their goal of $1. So I always hate the $1, like I get it, but at the same time, because it's obviously so far gone, you don't know, like, are they actually doing okay? Do they actually need more? Is this going to be something that's canceled later on? It's hard to build that confidence when you're not confident in the goal, right? Next up, we have Axon Protocol, 12,000. They need 15,000, so they are very close. 186 backers, 20 days to go. This is a cyberpunk game. It has standees, and that keeps the price down, which is great. So you can get the game for $56, which is a far cry from, I think, everything else that we're looking at these days. Also, I would like to apologize for how I said the name of this. I'd never even heard of that word. I live up to my name average a little too well sometimes, so I do apologize for that. I believe it's Baroque, like kind of like broke, which is something I am familiar with. So hopefully that was a little bit better of a pronunciation. Not perfect, I know. I'm sorry. The Last of Us Skip the Dark, 728,000. They did add full minis instead of just the little like heads, so that you were gonna get these tokens, and then they were gonna make the little heads of the clickers be there. And now they've upgraded those to be right down here, full-sized clickers, so that's cool. Again, these renders are much more detailed than you will get in the plastic miniature. And so now they have the heads still, but they're just here on the calendar board. So you just get a kind of one to kind of go there instead of a whole bunch of little ones. So you get a whole bunch of these. But again, do not expect this detail. This is super duper highly detailed render and not necessarily representative of what the miniature will be. I'm not saying it'll be bad, it just won't be quite like that. Forged is doing well, over 100,000 raised, so congrats to them. Over 1,000 backers, which is also super cool to see. They are unlocking some really cool stretch goals. Let's take a quick look at those. So I think we left off right around after this guy. I think we may have had these two as well, maybe even the Flame Spiders. So they have Ghost Kids, Feral Vampires, Vampire Archlord, Ratkin Fighters, and my personal favorite, these Orc Hunters. But they're like not the normal orc hunters you would think of. Like this one has a mustache and beard, and they are like all winter like stuff. Like it's really cool. I like the fur cloaks on orcs, something I have not seen every day, so I appreciate that. Werewolf, the Apocalypse Retaliation, over 500,000 raised, over 3,000 backers, still 8 days to go on this one. And this one, again, same thing. I think it's unlocking some super cool stuff. I think it's inherently based off how the game is set up, not as appealing to a lot of people as the Vampires of the Masquerade chapters that they did, and because of how the like delivery of that's been going and stuff like that, and getting all that ready. I think a few people are a little hesitant here. Hopefully they're still doing good. I did want to point out this freaking sweet Pavement Bane mini, 70 to 80 millimeters. I don't know why they don't know which one it is, but it's one of those two. Looks super cool. I dig that. What a fun mini. I really, really like that. All right, next up we have Anawak relaunch, 23,000 at 41,000. Still possible. They could still make it because they have 21 days to go. That's a lot. However, only 125 backers. I think that's almost the most limiting thing. Not even just necessarily the money, is getting enough people to make manufacturing. The plan to make it on 41,000, assuming that's the correct goal, also assumes a number of backers. In other words, what's the minimum order to distribute that around? And if you get that way from less backers, that can sometimes cause an issue. So hopefully that's working out for them. You'd have to ask them about that. I'm not aware. The Thinning Veil, they actually crossed the halfway point, so they are almost at 100,000, and they still have 6 days to go. Now, sadly, I don't think the 6 days is going to be enough, but they are doing well. And one thing I wanted to point out is they've continued to raise money even with Elden Ring coming out. And I feel that's important to note that this is not necessarily a zero-sum game. Another campaign isn't necessarily going to take dollars from you. Now, invariably, some people are gonna have to make a decision, and so that's fine. But if the success of your game means Elden Ring can't be on Kickstarter at the same time, then there's something wrong with that, right? That you need to fix. Like, it should be able to still do its thing if the desire's actually there. Hopefully that makes sense. Their updates have been doing actually pretty good, though. They've been kind of doing these deep dives into these different characters, going over their cards, stuff like that. I really dig that. I think that's a smart thing to do. That's really cool. We'll see what that is. We'll check in before it's done. Gatefall funded 16,000 out of 5,000 goal. Again, kind of an odd goal amount, but they are, they don't have to develop the game per se. They did make a standee version, which is pretty cool. So I dig that. So it's not just these big minis, but I mean, I don't know. It's not an expensive game. So, and one of the cool things was these giant minis you get as opposed to these standees, but it's there anyway in case you want a super cheap $30 version, which is kind of a nice spot for that game. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game, $2.4 million at 16,000 backers. It's very interesting to see the difference between that and Elden Ring. Elden Ring has more in funding, but way less backers because the price difference is huge. Like, this is much cheaper. I'm backing everything at $1 right now. Life's crazy, and I'm moving next month probably, guys, so I know it's been a while. So it'd be cool to show the new game room to you guys once I have that all set up and everything. But either way, like, life's crazy with the holidays. Hope everyone had a safe holiday, at least here in the US with Thanksgiving. But $78 is the basic pledge, and then the Azure pledge is $123, and the all-in is $206. So yeah, definitely a lot cheaper for sure. But look at all the stretch goals they've unlocked. A ton of stuff. I'm not going to go through all of them. You guys can take a look. But there is some cool ones here for sure. Some ones I was excited about that I'm glad that we got. Very cool. And again, 16,000 backers. That's amazing. All right, next up we have Tiny Epic Crimes with the red reveal kind of system there. Again, this is not something I would personally play, but I wanted to show it off because I know a lot of you like the Tiny Epic games. And I want to cover more cheaper games. The premium print and play is $20, but the base game itself, $25. So just get that. I would say the shipping won't be that much. I believe they ship them in bags though, which is kind of a bummer. It's kind of weird to get a box in a bag, but yeah, what are you going to do? Either way, you can kind of take a look at how this plays. I personally hate these types of maps. I think they look horrendous and I can't stand looking at them. The ones like buildings. Heroes of Need did that as well, and I couldn't stand it. It's just personal preference for me. But I think there was a picture of somebody playing it too that I was like, oh yeah, like that. Can't. Not in my, that won't be on my table. Be on somebody else's table. I'm sure the game's fun though. All right, Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum, that is coming up. In case you missed my last video, this is going to be huge. It was great to see this almost triple the amount of people following it. I'm sure that'll continue to rise as they continue to show more of the game off. Speaking of which, I believe there is an update. Update. Let's meet Poison Ivy. So there's a Poison Ivy minigame. Look at that sculpted base, Elden Ring. Isn't that amazing? That cool? Look how unique of a pose that is that you couldn't do on a flat base. Instead of just standing there, she actually is interacting with her base. It's all one piece. It looks amazing. It looks awesome. I support it. This is what people are doing these days, and it looks super cool. All right, next up, we also have Street Fighter V Champion Edition Legends. This one is just to kind of talk about an interesting thing because people weren't necessarily aware of this. But let's see. There is Alex Lim, I believe. I believe it's Lim. Alex Lim. So if you didn't know, he's kind of infamous in not delivering a lot of stuff he's been involved in. He likes to get involved with stuff that is like kind of crappy and sucky and doesn't deliver, and then just keeps saying stuff will deliver and doesn't. Is my understanding. Feel free to inform me more of that though, because I haven't been involved in any of the campaigns he's been involved in, thankfully. So I'm not an expert on the situation. Please let me know what you think of this. But Colossal Games is trying to kind of separate themselves from that. If you didn't know, he was involved with the Blacklist game stuff, which again, you know how that ended up. Again, you can see a pattern there. He's still involved along with Blacklist for the rights to Street Fighter. They still have the IP rights to it, though Colossal Games is running everything else. So some people feel like supporting this is still supporting him. He still gets a paycheck from it. And other people are saying, no, support Colossal Games, are separate. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that down below. No, seriously, let me know, because I'm no expert on that. Speaking of which, Blacklist Games is actually now fully kind of handed off fantasy, the Series 1 fantasy miniatures to Quartermaster Logistics. They will be sending out invites. So if you backed the miniature series, their fantasy Series 1 miniature series, you will be able to get your game. You will have to pay for more shipping, which sucks. And that definitely means that obviously it's the cost effectiveness of the campaign is worse now, and you know it's been years anyway, and it's a mess, but at least you can get something out of it as opposed to nothing. But that is available. Aeon Trespass Odyssey did an update. I want to actually compare this to something, and I want to point out a few things. So, if you didn't know, Aeon Trespass Odyssey is a game I've been super excited about for a very long time. It's been one of my favorite games I have ever played in my entire life. It's fantastic. I loved the prelude and played through the entire thing and then some and enjoyed it immensely. It's delivering. I am super excited about that for sure. It's a huge undertaking, and it's delivering like wave 1, right? So like they're still making it and stuff like that. But they go through a lot of different stuff here, a lot of talk and all that. One of the great things I wanted to see here is he's talking about the development, like retrospective. And there's like, how do we get here? And really kind of right off the bat, it says, at this point, I like to thank each and every one of you, the core game backers, the 5 bundlers, the $1 early backers, and late pledgers. This is because of you, only because of you, a project like this could see the light of day. And each day I continue to be grateful for you giving me the chance to make this dream a reality. Thank you. Thanking the $1 backers, by the way, is actually super duper cool and something you don't see a lot of. There's actually a lot of animosity towards the dollar backers because it's a business unknown. It can actually cost them money if they don't translate to it. And at the end of the day, we have seen time and time again, especially this year, I've covered it, where some companies continue to remove people that are critical and also backing out $1. They just say, we don't even want your dollar. We don't want you to convert. We don't want your money. We don't want you here. And so it's great to kind of see a focus on like, hey, everybody that gave anything to this, just thank you so much. I think that's super cool. I'm not going to go over the whole update here. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, first of all, down here, this is great seeing kind of like, hey, here's some of the stuff that can help you out. Number 16 was great. There is an index. I hear it's a fantastic index too, so super excited about that. And then later down farther, they talk about this, a small positive issue. Finally, there are a small, very positive issue plaguing some backers and that they got more content than they wanted. Whoa! As we investigated this terrible affliction, affected backers are encouraged to enjoy the windfall. If you are a particularly empathetic backer and are ravaged by bouts of guilt because of this unexpected curse of plenty, we will happily accept enthusiasm, positive word of mouth, and goodwill. On that note, they do have a 50% off their resin page. I'm going to go and link to this down below. Feel free to check that out if you want to get some of their resin miniatures. They're super cool. That sort of attitude, that sort of appreciation and realization for the fact that they took a ton of money from people for years to make this game and that they're now like making good on their word and doing it gets you stuff like this. Dear Poots, take note, this is how you communicate with the people that support and share your passion. Thanks for the update. Thank you for your work and passion. Lovely update. Looking forward to it. Look at all this response by them constantly. Congratulations on fulfillment. I love you into the unknown. As a UK backer, thank you. All this stuff. Just an outpouring of support for a delayed and late game that costs a lot of money. I point that out because Kingdom Death Monster also had a update on October 25th. It's a short one that just says, we're going to combine it with the next one. There's not really any information. And the comments are, Poots, you're a loser. I wonder how many of us will still be alive when this campaign finally delivers. What a joke. Our clients love misery. Let's make their rounds to spit in their face again. Why not just poke a quick Gambler's Chest progress update instead of this nothing to see here update? Honestly, makes me scratch my head. Notice that the animosity, or at least the attitude in general, of the people waiting for the Gambler's Chest is so much different. I pointed out to say that there is no hard time limit on these, and I have seen people be positive about a game that is more delayed than Aeon Trespass Odyssey. But understanding the amazing fact that your life and what you're doing as a living and what you're able to accomplish is because people gave you money based off of a promise is incredible. The fact that anybody in this day and age is willing to give you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for a promise on something eventually is mind-boggling. And to take that money and not hold that promise very strongly and to almost feel like you're delivering it in a begrudging manner, that you're not excited about it, that you're not happy about it, that you're not appreciative of it, brings you what Poots has now. And to see the difference between that and the outpouring of support for Into the Unknown is, I think, it says it all. It says it all. There's not a lot of pressure if you do things right, to hit those deadlines. Like, we as backers are so understanding of delays, are so understanding of hurdles and issues and setbacks and stuff like that. As long as there's respect, as long as there's understanding, and as long as you're doing your best. And I think that's great. So I wanted to end it on that note. I'm very thankful that Into the Unknown is doing what they can to make things right. I can't believe there's a company out there right now on Kickstarter that says, hey, did you actually get more stuff? Congrats, enjoy it. Maybe say something nice about us. It just blows my mind that the company's operating that way at this capacity, at this level, with this many people. It's just awesome to see in a sea of bad news to cover something like that. So I wanted to end on that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you appreciate the effort I put into these videos, leave a like. Let me know in the comments below. I do appreciate that. It definitely helps drive me towards making more of these, being more thorough, doing the research needed for that. So thank you so much for just an amazing year already so far, guys, and I can't wait to see what comes next. All right, that's it. That's all I had. Take care. Bye, guys.